All right, everyone, here we are at an episode of Ghouly Gossip Girl. If you're wondering about my channel and what we do, basically we just share all of our ghouly gossip with people. I mean, the questions are, have you ever dated a witch? Yes? No? How did you know? How did it go? We want to know. Have you ever had any issues with Bigfoot? Have you been abducted by aliens? Do you have ghosts in your home? We want to know about it, and we want to know about it right now. And right now, I've got another ghoulie of mine, Selena Schlagens here, getting ready to share her little story. Selena, I understand that you grew up in a haunted house that was actually a nice presence.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Okay.
It was really good.
Tell us how'd that go? How'd you find out? Like, I'm itching to know.
So when I was growing up, I lived with my grandparents for a while, and they had, it was a 100-year-old farmhouse. It was a parish house.
Okay.
So the pastor of the church, that was his house.
Oh, okay.
It was like 100 years ago. Anyway, so my grandparents had it in the family and whatnot. Well, when I was living there, it was always kind of talked about that there was not necessarily, I mean, maybe an entity, but kind of like a guardian almost.
Okay.
It wasn't demonic, it wasn't mean, it wasn't uncomfortable. I actually didn't even know to be scared of ghosts at all.
And you grew up in this house?
And I grew up here, yeah. Like little things we always joked about. Like if my grandma ever lost like a pair of like those little bird scissors or something,
mm-hmm.
or just little things.
The little sewing scissors
yeah.
in a crate.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Some of those.
I think every granny had like 2
yes.
sets of those. Okay, got you.
Anything little, like a screwdriver, I mean, anything little. If you were stomping around the house like, oh my gosh, where is that stupid so-and-so, scissors, whatever. As long as it was something little, if you exited the house and came back in, it was usually always on the buffet table.
Okay.
It happened a lot with keys, like single keys.
Girl, I wish I had a guardian help me find my
Right?
keys. I lose them again. I never find them again. So
Right?
I hope you paid this little receipt to help you with it. I hope so.
Yeah. So that was one thing that I grew up with him doing. And I say it to him because I remember a conversation my grandma had with one of our neighbors. It was one of her friends. They were saying how it was the pastor. They believed it was the pastor. I don't remember why or whatnot, but it seemed to fit.
Okay.
And anyways, so he also made sure that our house was always warm. So we survived on wood heat. We didn't have anything else. And we lived in Vancouver, so it's, damp and dreary all the time.
Right.
Well, so a lot of times my grandpa always thought like my grandma was kicking him awake
mm-hmm.
and saying, Robert, fire. And, he'd get up and the fire would be, dwindling to coals.
I think it's cute. He automatically assumed it was her.
I
think that's love right there when you just know who you're being nagged by.
Yes, exactly. Well, so there was one night, I was very little, so I was sleeping in between them, and I guess he got a really big, like a jolt, like someone pushed him, and Robert, fire, is what he said, and he's like, oh my goodness. And he got up and he looked over, and both my grandma and I are like corpses. We are incoherent. We are sleeping hard. And he's like, okay, well, it wasn't them. That's weird. And so, but anyways, he finally came to the conclusion that it was the ghost, the pastor, this whole time. Because I don't ever remember the fire ever being dead and waking up to a cold house. But on the other hand of that heat for the house, my mother also grew up in this house.
Okay.
And when she was, I believe she said either late middle school or early high school, I want to say it was like chicken pox, but I'm not sure. Anyways, she was very sick for like a week. She was in bed. Her room's upstairs. And she was to the point where she was bedridden. She couldn't get out of bed. Well, for all of a sudden, after a week of being like this, my grandma's like, I'm going to go into town and I'm going to go get some things. So town was about 20 minutes away, if not 30. And my mom was like, you know what? I actually feel pretty good. Do you care if I go with you, Mom, going to town? And my grandma's like, well, sure, if you feel up to it.
Spontaneously better all of a sudden. Okay.
Yeah. And my grandma's like, okay.
You got a healer in the house. I'm excited.
Well, kind of. So they get in the car and go to town.
Okay. Well, I'm sensing a turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, all of a sudden they said they got like almost to town. Well, they got into town, but all of a sudden my mom's like, I really don't feel good, Mom. It's coming back. I do not feel good. So my grandma's like, okay, well, we'll take you back and I'll come back into town. Well, when they went back to the house, the entire fire department of Clark County was over there. And the house was on fire.
Okay, so you weren't having a bachelorette party. This was an actual fire. Okay, that's disturbing.
So what happened was...
So it was lucky that your mom spontaneously got better so she could leave.
But she felt like crap once she got away from the house.
Wow.
And then when she came back to the house was on fire. Mom would have died. Because she was
here. I know. Oh no, that'd be so sad. No.
But yeah, she lived upstairs, so the smoke would have gotten to her. Probably would have taken her life, unfortunately, and she was sleeping a lot, so she probably wouldn't have even known.
Jesus.
And so we always attribute my mom getting out of that to the ghost made her feel better to leave the house.
This is more of a guardian than a ghost.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of called him, as a guardian. And it come to find out from that stupid wood stove, it was I think it was a coffee can. So a lot of times back in the old days, when they vented the pipes out, they used coffee cans to kind of cut the wires.
To kind of like connect them together. Okay, yeah. I've seen that.
Anyways, they built up with creosote in them, and then it caught fire. It started the wall on fire, went up the wall, and so on and so forth. So anyways, the house was not burned to smithereens. It just was fried.
Still enough to harm somebody if somebody was in the house.
Mom would have perished.
Oh my God.
So, but yeah, and then he helped me a few times.
Yeah, Selena, how did he help you? Please inform everyone how this little spirit came in and helped you with your stuff.
Oh, it wasn't exactly like a savior mentality like my mom, but when I was little, I had a really bad habit of sneaking out of the house.
Okay, describe little, because you say little and you've been little your whole life. That would have been yesterday, so please describe you when you were little.
I was probably no more than 10. Probably. I'm going to say between 8 and 10, something like that.
That's still pretty young. Okay, good.
Yeah, I like to sneak out of the house and go take my horse and go for a ride or go play around out in the woods. Or go play with the farm animals. Or...
Y'all hearing this shit? She skips out to go ride her horse in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
When I was like sneaking out as a young adult that I thought I was not going to ride a horse. I was going to do other things, but that's so nice of you that you would do that.
I wasn't exactly smart on the horse sometimes, and I just didn't want my grandma coming around the corner saying, "What are you doing? That's so stupid. Don't do that."
Want to do all your little horsey tricks?
Yeah, I want to go do it.
Without the judgment of the grandparents?
With
Okay.
no supervision.
Okay, girl, I see you. All right.
So my grandma finally caught wind that I was sneaking out of the house and then coming back in the front door and going to bed.
Okay.
Well, she said she was going to teach me a lesson one day, and she locked the door, which, unbeknownst to me, I went to go...
That's how she taught you a weapon? That's how she taught you a lesson?
That's how she tried.
Okay.
I didn't know she knew, and so anyways, I went out and did my thing, came back in, and walked up to my bedroom and went to bed. When I got woke up by my grandma screaming at me, "How the heck did you get into this house?" I'm like, "I live here." She's like, "You know what I'm talking about." And I'm like, I don't. What are you talking about? She's like, "I locked the door. I know you sneak out." And I was like, "What?"
And she's like, say nothing else.
Yeah, I was like, I plead fifth. She's like, "I locked the door, so you specifically had to wait outside." And I mean, it was not cold. I mean, this was not a cold time. I would have been fine. I would have just like slept on the porch or something, or in the barn. It was not bad.
She's gonna sleep in the barn, folks. She's for it. She's fine. Her horse is out there. She's needing. She's
fine.
Good. Yeah, she's great.
But so
you mysteriously were let back in.
Yeah. So my grandma's like, "Tell me, how did you get back in?" I'm like, "Grandma, the door was unlocked.
I walked through the front door.
I walked through the front door." And I remember this to this day. I thought my grandma was crazy. She turns around and is like looking at the walls. "I do not need help parenting from you."
So even she knew that this presence
She was yelling at the ghost.
Wow. Leave it to Granny to like scold someone who's no longer physically there.
Ghost, yes.
Was he embarrassed? Did he leave you guys for a while?
No. No.
I'm sure. Imagine you probably make sure keys were hidden the next day. Her
scissors were
missing.
gone.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no. So yeah, he was always. And I grew up listening to somebody walking up and down the stairs, but it never once scared me.
So you were never ever just scared.
I was never scared. But it was kind of interesting, growing up in that haunted house when I would go visit my parents.
Okay.
at their house on the opposite end of town, a newer house too, mind you, I never felt super comfortable there. I always felt like someone was watching me. I always felt like skin crawling. It was just very uncomfortable. But yet when I come back to that house,
go back to Granny's house.
Yeah, I was 100% comfortable at all times.
Wow.
I mean, I was fine. I only did one thing to tick it off.
Oh, please tell us. Please tell us.
So, we had 3 houses on that property, and eventually
starting a cult or what?
I know. Yeah. Family commune. No. So that was the old house is what we called it, and we used it for storage. And then they built a new house on the other side of the property, and my grandparents moved into that with me. And then my uncle had his house on his property. Well, so anyways, my grandma thought it'd be fun when I was in middle school, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, something like that. I had some girlfriends over, and they're like, "Oh, you can go play house in the old house." And so,
amazing house all to ourselves.
Right, so we thought it was great. Well, one of my little girlfriends.
We call that gentle parenting.
Yeah.
We call that hardcore parenting, hands off.
We were out in the country. There was nothing that was going to happen to us.
I love it.
Well, my little girlfriend decided that she was going to bring a Ouija board.
Child. All right.
Granted, okay, I was in like between 5th to 6th grade.
So
like that.
Shit's getting interesting. Yay.
Yeah, and so she's like, all right, guys, ask it, whatever you want. Well, I was always told that my grandma's brother, who'd passed away, I never knew him, never met him, but I found a lot of his old drawings. Nobody in our family is artistic.
Okay.
And I am told I am fairly artistic.
You are. You see these nails, y'all? You see these nails? She's an artist.
And so I was always interested and intrigued by her. They could be my great uncle. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm told I'm like my great uncle. I want to meet him. And of course, nothing happened that night. Okay. We all went home the next morning, fine. And my grandma's
lucky you, damn.
Well, it didn't stop there. My grandma's like, okay, we got to go clean up this mess. These little, crazies probably destroyed the house.
These little hellions.
Exactly.
Up.
Yes. So we went over to the house, and when we walked in, every picture my grandma possessed of her brother was out scattered around the house.
What?
Yeah, every picture.
Like out of the frame?
Yeah. Like, she didn't really have any that were up ever. But, I mean, they were all tucked away, like, in the chests and stuff like that. But they were out. I mean, they weren't, like, scattered like it was a crazy scene, but they were just placed all over. And my grandma
wasn't one of your little buddies that came back.
No, because I think there was 5 of us, 4 or 5 of us. Anyways, we all left, and they went home, and then from that, we went over there to, my grandma and I went over there to clean. And we lived out in the country. No one came in and out of this house. And we went in there to clean, and there was those pictures everywhere. And my grandma looks at me. She's like, "What the hell did you do?" I was like, "We played with a Ouija board, Grandma. Nothing happened." She's like, "Obviously, something did, and how dare you disrespect your great uncle like that?" Yeah.
Give me your hand. Yeah, Selena.
I did have to clean everything up, and I had to apologize to the ghost.
Oh, that's nice.
So, or my uncle, or whoever I was apologizing
Whoever
to.
you wronged, you gotta write him.
I'm so sorry.
Leave him a little plate of cookies. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that was and I wasn't even uncomfortable. That was more like this is a warning. Don't do that again, sweetheart.
You're lucky you got off with a warning. Child.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely more guardian and protector than
very
spooky, angry, malevolent thing. Because that's the thing, is like a lot of times, so if you know anything about me, you know that I am what's known as a metaphysician. So I help people in the realms of the metaphysical. So I've heard almost everything. And a lot of times when you hear situations like that, it's always like a vengeful spirit or a jealous spirit or somebody got upset. But rarely do we hear about the fluffy hauntings.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a fluffy haunting. Like, this little guy was helping you out.
I was never scared, ever.
That's so nice.
Ever. I mean, he helped me sneak in past my grandma.
That explains why you're so fucking brazen sometimes. The shit you do. She was mushrooming in the woods by herself. She was camping by herself. At night by herself. She's like, ain't shit gonna touch me. And I'm like, okay, but bears, honey, there's bears out there.
That's what my 10mm is for, sweetheart.
Oh, well. And there's a kickback you're gonna work hard for.
It's well balanced.
Oh, I bet.
She don't kick that hard with a red dot.
Well, some girls have heels and some girls have weapons. So I always pack extra lip gloss This one here is packing
Extra ammo.
Extra ammo. That's crazy. So I am going to ask you another question. Not to pivot on anybody, but we're not hot subject. So since you do spend all this time in the woods like a crazy woman by yourself, you ever seen anything? You ever had any experiences out there you cannot explain?
I haven't really. I mean, we used to go camping over outside Leavenworth all the time in a little campground called Nason Creek. And if you ever look on that map over there, there's a guard, like a fire tower. And it is the most requested fire tower during the summer because they get volunteers to stay there for like a weekend, I think it is. Or
for fire season.
Yeah, for fire season. And it is the most requested one because it is the hottest spot for UFO activity.
Be still my beating heart.
Yeah.
I was like, where's this location at? Because I want to go to
Nason Creek Campground is right outside Leavenworth.
Okay, we're going to put a pin in that.
Yeah. And we just used to sit there and look up at the sky and we'd see like, strange shit. Nothing big.
Right.
But, strange little things.
No UFOs stopping and asking for directions or anything?
No, unfortunately. But my grandpa is the one that had the Bigfoot experience.
Okay.
My grandparents they were not wealthy at all. They hunted to feed the family. And a lot of times there was not a tag involved. My grandpa was a logger.
Okay, we're just going to let that sit here, everybody. Nobody past this till
they're both passed, so I think they're fine.
Still, have you seen the situation where you're now? I would not be surprised if people didn't go beyond the grave to get what's theirs.
That's true. So he was nothing scared that man. Nothing scared that man. And so him and his friend Crazy Willie.
I'm already in love. Crazy Willie, I don't know where you are, but I'm already in love. This is great.
They went and they dropped, I think it was a doe or a cow or something. I don't remember. But anyways, they dropped it. They were skinning it, field dressing it. And my grandpa said they started having rocks thrown at him. And he sat up and was like, what the hell's going on? And he didn't really go too much into depth other than he said the rocks kept getting thrown at him and then like tree branches kept getting like broken.
Were they small rocks or large rocks?
No, they were big.
Okay. This is not the first time I've heard this. I've heard this before. I've heard that Bigfoot are territorial. And if you come into their territory and you're taking meat,
yes,
then they get really really upset about that.
Well, so they did that, and during the skinning and all that happening, they started to hear like screaming, yelling, brush being pushed down, etc. And like I cannot emphasize this enough. My grandfather was afraid of absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. This man was fearless. Him and Crazy Willie left the deer or elk, whatever it was, and left it.
Damn.
I mean, they are feeding their family with this, and they left it.
Damn.
Now, a
that's
little
hella
funny
scared.
tidbit. Guess where this happened? Remember how I said I lived over in Vancouver? Have you ever heard of the Ape Caves?
Sounds familiar, but remind me what that is.
One of the biggest hotspots in the country for Bigfoot sightings because it's over in Vancouver, Washington. And that is the Ape Caves comes from the Native Americans, their direct translation of these caves that are around Mount St. Helens of a creature that lives there. And it's rumored that it's Bigfoot, like big time territory.
Wow.
So I don't think it was like at Mount St. Helens right there, but it's around that area.
One of these episodes, we're going to get into Bigfoots and their offerings. I don't know if you guys know this, but there are some Bigfoots out there that have been rumored to accept offerings from people to give like safe passage through areas or being allowed to be able to take a deer or two. Okay, so I have a client, can't tell you where, but I have a client, and she lives out in the middle of bum chuck nowhere, okay? And she's had sightings before of like Bigfoot and stuff coming like across her property and stuff, and she was having issues with her horses and her cattle being scared by these beings. And she heard through the grapevine that if you like leave them stuff, they'll like leave you alone. And so she started experimenting with like little things she could leave out. Like one day she like made some bacon and thought that they would like the bacon. And then she left out, I think she left out like some wine and stuff like that, which they didn't touch the wine. I know. I'm thinking it's big.
I guess it's not my spirit animal.
Exactly. Bigfoot's definitely my spirit animal because I'd have taken the wine and the wine and bacon. I'd have taken both of them. But she had really, really, really good luck with garlic. She would leave like anytime she so one time she left like an array of different things and just to kind of notice what they were taking and not. And they had taken things like tools and stuff. So they'd taken a couple of knives and daggers that she left out there. I know, right?
Well, I mean,
there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of trust.
It's not a spirit animal.
Exactly.
Going for the weapons.
A lot of trust she's giving out to these critters. And but she noticed that they were taking things like the garlic and the onions were like the number one things that they were taking.
Crazy.
And so then she started leaving like they didn't like chopped up garlic or minced garlic. They like the whole cloves of the garlic. And so then she like starts asking around. She talks to this guy who's like a Bigfoot professional. And she talks to him and he's like, yeah, they use garlic to keep pests away.
Yes.
Like they eat
we
it.
do it in the garden all the time.
Exactly. They eat it to keep like bugs and pests and stuff away.
Garlic and onions we dry and put around our garden to keep pests away.
Shit, no.
Yeah.
Girl, okay, so it's all full figured right here. It's all coming around. Yeah. She was saying that the garlic was like the number one thing. Onions and garlic were like the number one things that they would take. And then the Bigfoot started leaving her gifts too.
Oh, like what?
Yeah, like they would like okay, so like one time they left like little bones and stuff, like little bones. One time they came by and they left like a pile of like roots that were there, like just piles of roots. And one time she goes out there and she notices that there's like a wind chime, and it's this really pretty wind chime that was made with like sea glass.
Oh, great.
And she was like, oh my God. And it was the greatest thing ever. She was so fucking excited for it. So she goes and she hangs it up and she has it in her little front. And then all of a sudden she notices that after a while her neighbors like stop talking to her. And she's kind of like, what? Like they had this big gathering and stuff. And her neighbor made a comment on the wind chime. And she was like, oh, she's like, I like your wind chime. Where'd you get it? She's like, oh, a friend gave it to me. Da da da. And, just kind of went on about it. Well, then she noticed her neighbor kind of like icing her for a while, like not communicating, not talking. And then finally one day her husband goes over to go talk to the neighbor and he's like, you have to give the wind chime back. And she's like, what do you mean? She goes, they think you stole it. She goes, what? She goes, it's their wind chime. It was her grandma's wind chime and you have it hanging up outside. And she's like, oh shit. She goes, and then he's like, honey, you never stopped to ask where Bigfoot would have got a wind chime from. She goes, we're out in the sticks. I didn't think about it. She goes, well, I highly think he went to Ross and just picked out a wind chime for you.
Fair. I wouldn't have thought.
She was just so excited. She was like, yay.
Yeah.
I know. And then she started noticing other things like dog collars with like the dogs are okay. We checked into that. She checked into that. The dogs are fine.
Person.
Yeah, the dogs are fine. I wouldn't have told you. But like little things that would like get lost or like be set around other people's property, they would like collect and like trade her with it.
Oh my gosh, how fun.
And then after that, like they made like a direct pathway that would go around her property to get to like the offering area. And then her cattle and her horses were like never scared again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think it's because they were cutting through. And when the way she had it set up, like, I don't know, there was like this psychic communication between the both of them. And so like they kind of knew like, okay, like she's cool.
Well, and I could see it really definitely affecting horses because a lot of times bear skins, like bears will send a horse into a hiatus. Like,
really?
Yeah, like with Arabs, when you get them to pose for pictures, when they get them all perched out and snorty, they have a bear thing in the background. That
like a bearskin rug in the background just dancing around.
Yeah, and they're getting them to get all snorty and highfalutin and stuff. So yeah, bears and when
did you just say highfalutin?
Yeah. They get hot to trot.
Okay, those little hot to trot guys. You hear that? Okay.
And the bears scare horses big time. And
God.
And I've heard people say that Bigfoots have that odor of bear.
Oh wow.
So I mean, it makes sense that our horses were.
I've had a couple experiences of taking a whiff of those boys, and let me tell you, the whiff alone, the smell alone, will scare the shit right out of you. I mean, and
I've never heard with the Bigfoot, but with bears, of course, I smelled bears, and they're bad.
Ugh.
Which I could assume a Bigfoot would probably be very similar.
I've had some experience with like Bigfoot before, and they smell absolutely rank. And I've been told that the females smell less than the males.
Shocking.
I'm like, no, facts. They are directly related to us. Oh my God.
Yes.
But yeah, I've heard like the females smell like slightly musky, but like the dudes smell like death. Like just like raw shit just out there.
I can totally believe that.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know how y'all are marking your territory, but you need not to try so hard. We see you now. We get it.
Well, if you want to go find one, we should totally go up to like the Umatillas, the Blues. Because, I mean, Finding Bigfoot did an episode in the Umatillas and the Blues and over
the here. Finding Bigfoot the show?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They did one over on the Walla Walla side and came in through the Umatillas. And then they also did an episode out at the casino.
They find anything?
I don't remember, honestly.
Besides an excuse to make an episode?
Yeah, I don't remember, honestly. It was a while ago. But it's the blues right outside here. I've always wanted to go up to the Wenatchee Guard Station and blast Bigfoot calls.
Oh my god.
It'd be fun.
That'd be really fun.
A couple glasses of wine and a recorder.
Oh, we're going to have some wine. This has been tedious without wine. Like, the next time y'all see me, we're going to be drinking a little something and having it, but it's just been a long day, so we didn't.
It's been a long day, and
We weren't prepared for wine today, but that's okay. We're going to have another wine.
I got a long drive home, so I
Girl,
can't do the
know.
wine, but another time we can.
I was going to say, we'll do this during the day instead of the creepy nighttime where we can just hang.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we might be going and hanging out with
Bigfoot.
the Bigfoot. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god,
It's
Selena,
fun.
it's been so much fun to have you here.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much.
having me.
Dude, yeah, and then you're like my first person, so this is like really awesome. Really excited. If you guys want to know about Selena, she has a business here in town called
Nailed it.
Nailed It. She's a nail
Nailed
tech.
it.
She's amazing. She does everything wonderful. And then, yeah, if you guys want to share with us some of your ghouly gossip, you guys can hit up the email link down below. Just email me, give me a little brief about what you want to talk about, and we'll find a way to get you on because we're always searching for that ghouly gossip.
I can't wait to hear more from other people.
Yes, I know. And then also, if you want to book a reading with me or anything that has to do with the spiritual realm, have any questions, concerns, whatever, go ahead and hit me up in that email down below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe because this pays for us to look pretty in the future, and it's really important.
Yes.
But not as important as getting y'all stories out there. And here's the thing: I don't care how crazy it sounds. I want to hear it. Do we?
I want to hear it.
I want to hear it. I don't care. I will have to tell you about the story about how I had a client that literally had a toilet that was haunted. That's coming up in our next episode.
yeah.
And I'll have to tell you all about it because it's hilarious.
Interested in that one.
I just grabbed you.
Yes, you did.
It's very. You have our full attention with the haunted
Yes.
toilet. Please proceed, and that we will. But thanks you guys for listening, and I hope you guys like, subscribe, talk to me, do whatever you need to get attention because that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the goss and the attention. Mwah. Okay, edit that out. Ooh, ooh, Ugh. We need to do one here on like Main Street haunting.